Mexico Civil War. Apparently, guys, there's been a huge protest over in Mexico. People are calling it the January 6th of Mexico. But I have no idea what's going on. All I know is that there's been a lot of anime memes. So now I'm interested.
Just saw massive protests against their liberal president, Scheinbaum, which got so intense their police even brought back the Greek phalanx. But oddly, the mainstream media skewed this story from the perspective of the accused narco president. It'll be interesting to see which outlets view this from the citizen side and which writers report this from the perspective of the cartels.
That's
As
true.
all of this started when a Mexican mayor took on the cartels, only to be assassinated days later. The Trump administration began planning going into Mexico with the military, stating the cartels run their government.
Yep.
Because the cartels have a tremendous grip on Mexico and the politicians.
Guys, I have a take on this that some people might not like. Hear me out, chat. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. But if you're a country, right? You're a country. You value like the stability of your country a lot, right? Obviously, it's our home. We want to be safe. We want to be safe and secure in our own home, right? Now imagine you have a state right next to your country. Like there's another country next to your country that literally cannot handle their own shit. Like they cannot handle their own shit to the point that the fucking criminals took over the government, basically. The politicians are all bribed by these guys. And then all of that crime flows across the border via like narco trafficking and trafficking and illegal immigration because the country cannot handle their own shit. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like it's well within our rights to be like, okay, listen up, Mexico, listen. You're gonna take care of your shit. You have like until this day to do it. If you don't, we're doing it for you. I totally feel like that's justified. And people might say like, oh wow, Leaflit, that's so fucking bad. They're like their own country. Yeah, but they can't handle their own shit. Why do we have to suffer for it? Why do we, the citizens of America, have to deal with their shit because they can't fix their own shit? Either fix it or we'll fix it for you. Like I don't understand why this is controversial.
And the people that get elected.
To which Mexican President Scheinbaum stated something to the effect of, "We must protect the cartels from fascism."
Entonces, estos llamados autoritarios, porque son autoritarios, es ir hacia el fascismo.
Now, obviously, we're not able to translate this one-to-one, because if their president really claimed protect the rights of the cartels, that would be insane, which is exactly how the Mexican citizens are responding, as their president quickly built massive barricades in anticipation of Saturday's protest.
Wait, so you're telling me it's okay to build a wall? Wait, hold up, guys, hold up. But I thought walls weren't effective. But I thought you're not supposed to build walls. Oh, that's funny. That's weird.
To which it originally appeared to be genuinely peaceful, as they chanted against their alleged narco president.
Oh my god, look at all the One Piece flags. Dude, I thought it was like one or two, dude. The entire front is all One Piece flags. There's like one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Are they all wearing straw hats too? Oh my god.
And aside from all the One Piece pirate flags, it is somewhat refreshing to see citizens protest while waving their own country's flag. But when these Gen Z protest—
Okay, hear me out though. The One Piece flag is universal. It's universal. Anyone can fly the One Piece flag. That's not a I'm not loyal to my country thing. That's an idea. It's the One Piece, the Jolly Roger of the One Piece, of Luffy's crew, of the Straw Hats. That's a completely different thing. Anyone can fly that.
Protesters made it to the walls outside the National Palace. They attempted to scale the makeshift barricades, later trying to tear down the gates, only to be met with a rainbow of OC sprays.
Dude, those guys are brave. They actually like went up to stop it with their hands. That's crazy.
But this didn't deter them, as they kept at it, chanting, "Yes, we can."
Holy crap.
As I would say their protesters were more serious.
Dude, this makes... I'm not gonna lie. January 6th was so weak compared to this. Like, dude, January 6th was such a nothing burger that everyone, like, got their fucking panties in a bunch over. It was nothing. This is real shit right here. This is real shit right
Then
here.
American
Holy
idiots
fuck.
in their inflatable suits. But even they had an activist in an astronaut costume, which doesn't completely negate the seriousness of this,
Holy
but it
crap.
does show how performative these protests are becoming,
Yep,
as they did
that's
eventually break down their barricades.
Oh, they got it. Wait, how did they do it? Wait, they screwed. What did they do?
Barricades.
They screwed. They drilled. They drilled a hook into it. They like drilled like an attachment here, and then they put a rope on it. Holy crap! No, look, there's like a chain. They like have a chain, and like somebody like walked up and drilled this into it. They broke the
Using
piece
the
apart by the
other
welding.
gates to face off with the police.
Man. Holy crap, dude. Dude, they're going ancient warfare tactics here, man. Look at that shield
Successfully
wall.
taking away other parts of the barricade.
Bro. This is crazy. What the fuck? Dude, what do you think? What do you think Oda actually thinks about this? I wonder what he thinks, like knowing that like his anime has become a rallying cry around the world. Like it's so crazy. Yeah.
But this was just the beginning, as there were still hundreds of riot police now forming a sort of Greek phalanx behind their shields, to which the rioters tried to break through.
Man.
Implementing some not so successful tactics.
Wow. This is crazy. This is so crazy.
Until the police phalanx began to advance on their position.
Uh-oh. They tired themselves out, man. Oh, here it comes.
And when they finally clashed, it didn't go so well for the Gen Z rioters,
Yeah.
with some of the riot police being snatched by the mob and beaten.
Oh my god.
In other instances where the rioters fell behind
Holy
police
crap.
lines, also being beaten.
Holy
But eventually, the riot police were able to push back the mob outside the National Palace, completely clearing out the courtyard, restoring order. Now, when the Daily Mail covered the riot, they reported on the Gen Z protesters calling for the president's resignation, as 20 of them were arrested for battery, assault, and robbery, with 60 officers also being injured, with 40 of them being sent to the
Man.
hospital, as President Scheinbaum accused right-wing groups being behind this.
Yeah,
And
of
although
course.
she wasn't actually at the National Palace as this happened,
Yeah.
she later denounced the Gen Z protest and violence that occurred. Now, I don't suddenly trust the mainstream media, especially to translate another language and to tell me what's actually happening, but judging from the massive amounts of people waving the Mexican flag against their far-left president, I'm somewhat inclined to believe this president isn't actually representing the people. Where recently, a conservative senator from Mexico actually came to our media to say the same.
Is Mexico a narco state? Yes, it is. And we all Mexicans know about it. And Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels that have infested our nation.
Can you explain this alliance between the president, her party, the Morena party, and the cartels?
The cartels have...
You know what's crazy about all of this is like people will say that like this problem, they'll be like, oh yeah, this problem is like really hard to solve, like we can't really do anything about it. But then like didn't Bukele just like literally solve that problem like in a really short amount of time? Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's the right wing. The actual protesters stop letting the cartels kill us.
Given so much money to these politicians, narco politicians of Morena, to get into office, to get the power. So they protect the Mexican government protects the cartels. That is why President Sheinbaum doesn't want the strong American leadership to help Mexico defeat the cartels. And also Sheinbaum doesn't want the rest of the world to know what is happening here in Mexico. We are on the steps to be the next Venezuela.
Which really makes you wonder why places like left-wing Bloomberg see this story and write their article from the perspective of how can President Sheinbaum stop these protests and not why does most of Mexico believe they have a narco president?
Yeah.
So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, subscribe to...
I mean, that is the problem, right? The problem is that a lot of them do you know, regardless of like whether or not it's true. I mean, you know, the cartel specifically like being in control of stuff. Like, I don't know the answer to that. It's like if I had to bet, you know, if I had to bet on it, if I had to bet on a horse, it would be that it seems like it's probably true. But there are a lot of stories coming out of Mexico about just people being assassinated, like that one politician just got assassinated, and even everyday people that speak out against the hotel just being beheaded, basically, just straight up like executed in the streets. Like if you say anything bad about the cartel, yeah, it's happened. There was a case of basically people on social media talking shit about the cartel and just getting killed. Sireniums, thank you so much for the bits. Speaking of cartels, my cousins and their families' town is controlled by the Jalisco cartel. No police presence at all. Yeah, and I mean, I think that's awful. And like obviously, the government of Mexico is not they're not doing enough to protect their own people, right? So it's like I said, if they have that kind of a problem that's right on our border, it sure as hell seems like a better use of our time than like shitting like on the other side of the world. I'm just like saying personally, I feel like that affects us way more. Like what's happening like literally right south of our border matters way more than what's happening across the ocean, in my opinion. That's how I feel about it. And it's like, so you're telling me we can do all that other shit and take care of all the other shit, but then like we can't do anything about the south of the border? It doesn't make any sense. That's pretty crazy. It's gonna be interesting to see how this unfolds. And again, the sad thing is like they can fix this.
Decoy Voice.
The sad thing about this is they can fix it. Like Bukele was in the same kind of spot and he fixed it. And now the people that live there, the people that live there are now a lot happier. They're able to actually go about their daily lives. And this, yeah, I don't know. They can, but they don't want to. Bukele isn't controlled by the gangs. You know, the funny thing is a lot of people actually got mad at Bukele. A lot of people got mad at him because he kind of went really hardcore a couple times when he was in office, and there was a lot of criticism about kind of like how he took control of things. But like I mean, the average person is like happier, right? Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this story unfolds.